Okay, so I've started the recording now. Okay, so yesterday we mentioned two uh, analysis. If you want to actually examine your business environment, you want to check, you want to see what is going on and assess them like a quick test. So who wants to remind me?
Did you
That's best. Okay.
sorry.
Okay,
I
that
remember
pestle as what?
is what?
Pestle and sword, sir.
Oh, okay, good. Pestle and
I think
SWOT.
that yeah.
Pestle and SWOT
Yes.
analysis. Okay, so you'll be giving me your ideas and then I will just be adding to it because I know you've heard of this before. So it's not something that we should waste much time on. So I believe that you should be able to uh, give me an idea. So when we talk of P in the pestle, we are talking of political. So we are looking at the political side of you know the business. And usually when we talk of politics, then we are mentioning what? We are talking about the government. So how does government policies, how do they affect our business? Because if you don't take cognizance of business environment that has to do with government policies, that may be the detriment of that business. It may lead to the end of that business. So it's very crucial to always take note of the policies, laws, especially that has to do with tax or labor laws in Nigeria. You agree with me what happened recently in January when the federal government said everybody must start paying tax from your income every month. And the companies also must pay company income tax after profit annually. So, this affected a lot of people. Everybody saying, no, it's not supposed to be. This is. But sincerely, we cannot continue doing the same thing the old way. That's why I support the government in that area, that we need to start paying the tax so that things can improve in the country. Because the burden is so much on the government and they cannot foot all the bills. So the citizens must also contribute one way or the other. Okay, so who wants to talk to me about the factors? What are the factors that you need to consider when we are looking at the political environment, political area that has to do with your business? What are the factors that you need to consider? Who wants to talk to me? Teresa, I'll be asking you first today.
All right, sir. See, just you've talked about the tax.
Just mention it. So you
So
can still
we
talk about it. And how
can
does
equally
it
see.
affect business?
You mean transaction? Hello?
What's the difference? So it's a tax or tax. When you say tax or taxation, are they different?
Okay, what I'm saying,
Come
I
on,
just
say
want
something.
to. Okay, what I'm saying is that, well, we all know that high taxation on some companies, especially the growing one, the infant ones, can actually lead to backwardness of that business. Just like, although I like what the government is doing on some certain aspects of the sector, like when you come to food, to education, and what have you, and medicine, I think the tax is almost as if there's no tax to be paid. But in a situation whereby,
What do you mean by that?
you say,
You were saying something that's as if there's no tax to be paid. So what do you
yes,
mean by
when you
that?
come to, they're talking about exemptions now, because they still give exemptions to some certain sectors, like to food production. I think there's an exemption on that. I'm just talking about tax, that a heavy tax on companies can slow down the progress of the companies. You understand? But that's what the government did in this new taxation laws. They look at the medicals, then they look at the production, especially on food aspect, and there's I think that they're exempted. So that is good one on that aspect. But I'm saying that if it is not, what am I even to say? That heavy tax on companies can lead to closure or even slowing down growth of some companies.
Okay. So, Anolua, can you pick another factor and talk about it?
Another factor under political.
Yes.
Okay, we can talk about like when there is in terms of maybe increase in import duties, like for importation of goods, when there is a rule, a law whereby there is an increase in the importation of goods, that can lead to it can lead to decrease in a business profit, like the profits they can realize. And likewise, the importers, those businesses that deals with importation, it will also affect their business. They will experience increase in their costs, like the cost of purchasing those goods, because automatically their import duty will be added to the purchase cost. It will also reduce their profit one way or the other. So one way or the other is affecting that business, that we like it or not.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Okay. So I'll pick one and I'll talk about it. Political stability in the country. You will agree with me that if the country is not stable, the business does not exist. I just mentioned yesterday that look at what is happening in Israel. Yesterday morning, there was war. Where United States collaborated with Israel and attacked Iran.
Yeah.
Do you want to say that in those countries there will be peace or the businesses will continue to run? No. So the stability in every country is important. So those are the factors you need to consider when you are looking at the political arena of a business. How is it going to exist? So everybody prays that there's peace in the country. The reason why we're still talking Nigeria is because there's still peace. If there's war going on, so many of us will leave the country, while the board will be left behind to fight.
Yeah.
But we don't pray there will be war in Nigeria.
Amen.
So that's a very key. In fact, it should be the first thing that you need to consider, because if there's no peace, you won't be talking about taxation. It's a country where there's peace that you'll be talking about taxation, monetary policies, laws, and we have the people in the Asura. So if those things are not there, forget it. Also, political ideologies of the government. Look at what is happening among our political parties in the country. I still did not understand. Everybody is moving from one party to the other. So it's as if we've lost what we have in the country. There's no political ideology anymore in the country. In 2027, if APC wins, every other governor in other party will also move to APC. If peradventure APC should lose, then everybody will leave APC and move to another party. That's what is going on in the country. And that is not good. For what? It's not good for our environment. It's not good for our business environment and even the country, the nation as a whole. And it should be checkmated. So, who wants to talk to me about another factor that should be considered in this area? Back to Teresa. Pick one other factor, political factor, that I think we should consider.
Talk about which one did I
So
talk
that
about?
means you didn't read about this thing before coming to class. Hello?
Honestly, I was
Okay,
just saying
so
that was going to
So talk to me. Which other factor do you think we should consider? We've talked about laws, we talk about taxation, we talk about tax policies, we've talked about political stability in the country, we've talked about the political ideologies and all that. So any other thing that we need to consider? Mrs. Gitt, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, well done. So I know, Lou, I'm waiting for you.
Sir, what
Please
did you say, sir?
respond. That
I
means you
just
are doing
stopped
something
hearing.
else. You have to be in this meeting, or you want me to be doing something else too?
Me? I'm
Yeah,
not doing
because
anything else.
I've asked
I
you this
stopped
question like
hearing
two
you,
times
so
now.
I logged out. Sir?
So yeah, talk to me.
Please, I
said,
didn't hear your question, sir.
what are the other factors, political factors that we need to consider?
Other political factor, factor is in terms of let's say maybe minimum wage law. Hello, sir, can you hear me?
I'm listening.
Another factor is maybe there's minimum wage. That's a political, is under, you can also attribute it to
Why
political.
is minimum wage? Why is minimum wage under political factor? Why are you considering minimum wage under political factor? Minimum wage,
Because
that should be economical. It is not a political factor. When you talk of political factor, you can be talking about regulatory practices and governing bodies. Governing bodies in parastatals, different ministries and all that. And the way they are stealing in Nigeria. So you can see what is going on. So corruption is increasing every day. And the money is not made available for the masses in the country. So people are suffering. And businesses are also going into extinction. So that's what is happening across the nation. And is affecting businesses everywhere. Another power factor you need to look at is the influential political leaders. Have you looked at that? One example is the situation of El-Rufai that is happening in the country at this time, whereby people, even in Kaduna, they are always rioting and they still want him to be detained more. So you can see all these things are happening across the nation. Whereas other party, the ADC, they are using it as what? As a campaign role for them. And saying, oh, you cannot keep him. But Have you forgotten what he said with his own mouth? So those are the things that you need to consider. And definitely it will have effect on businesses, especially in Kaduna State. Are we together?
Yeah.
Good. So let's go to economic factors. When we talk of economic factors that you need to consider when you are using the pestle to analyze your environment, your business environment. So you are looking at different things like interest rates, exchange rates, inflations. At this one rate, I think this one we should be able to talk better, to say something more and give me classical examples that will help. And then others we also gain from. So let's go. Who wants to start? Let me start with Mrs. Gift. Pick one economic factor and explain it.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please. I'm waiting for you.
Inflation. Are you hearing me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I said inflation is one of the
Yeah,
economic
please talk
factors
to me
that can be
about it.
able
I've
to.
already mentioned, I've mentioned inflation, so I want you to talk to me about it. How? How does it affect business environment?
Okay, it affects our purchasing power. It affects the operational cost of business, the exchange rate, the taxes. Hello,
You
sir.
should talk the way you are going to write it down in the exam. Let's say you are faced with this exam and you are asked to analyze using a pestle tool to analyze business environment. So how will you do that? How does inflation affect businesses? That's what I want to hear from you.
Okay, inflation affect the business, the operational cost, the cost of operation for businesses are increased. Then the exchange rates, the taxes and some. Hello, sir.
Okay, let's hear another person who wants to help us.
Okay, let me bring in something. We talk of, we can bring in infrastructures here now. For infrastructures.
Why do you want to bring infrastructure? We are talking of economic. Is infrastructure part of it?
And what I'm
Please
looking at is that.
make this class interesting. Hmm?
But the reason why I'm bringing
It's
it in
because
is that.
I believe that we know all these things before. That's the reason why I'm not taking the class. That's why I'm just chatting. I want us to just interact. And I'm surprised that you can't give me good discussion around it. Because this is a common thing. Even if you've done your ATS, they will have asked you this question long time ago. Hmm? All these things I'm taking you, do you know when last I've read them? Hmm? Please, you are the one writing the exam. So I expect you to give me good contribution. So please go ahead. What are the economic factors? Pick one and discuss it with examples. Anoloa.
Okay.
Sir, I'm with you, sir.
Yeah,
An
what should we do?
economic factor, I can say maybe interest rate. It can affect the economy. Like the example I gave yesterday, in terms of maybe the central bank putting monetary policy rates. In such a situation, in such an instance, it can affect the economy. If the interest rate is too much, automatically it will affect the business. And also, if the interest rate is too much, it will also encourage businesses to invest, like going for loans. So they will not be encouraged to get a loan from the bank, from central bank, due to the interest rate. And when a business does not invest, sir,
Yeah, I'm listening.
so yes,
Yeah,
it will
I agree
just
with you.
interest rate
I
is
agree.
high, it will
I agree with you. If the interest rate is high, definitely it will affect. So I agree with you. The interest rate, if it's high, you won't be able to take loan. So that means the borrowing power will reduce. So people cannot borrow money, and so they will try to reduce their borrowing power such that they wait until the interest rate is low or it comes down, and then with that, then they can always. So if they cannot get money to finance their business, then it will slow it down, and then the revenue will also reduce. So that's what happens around that area. Okay, who wants to talk to Teresa? Talk to me about unemployment rate. How does it affect business environment? Unemployment rate, like we have in
Okay.
Nigeria at the moment.
Like when we talk of unemployment, a situation whereby many people doesn't have something to do or don't have something meaningful to do, you find out that it will affect the amount of money they have. And from the amount of money you have, that is when you spend. So you find out that if there are lots of people that are not employed, it will surely affect demand. You understand? Thereby hindering economic growth. You understand?
Say that again.
I said that when there is high unemployment rate in a country,
Mhm, mhm.
you find out that demand for certain goods will be highly reduced because they don't have sufficient money to go for these things. Do you get it? So it reduces
We
consumers'
are not seeing
demand.
it from the right perspective. I'm talking about unemployment rate. So that means you have high supply of people, of workers. Look at it in that angle, in that perspective.
Okay.
So when you have a lot of people that are looking for job and the job is limited, the demand is
Mm.
high. People are
Yes,
looking
sir.
for job. You understand? And there's a lot of supply. So what happens? It will affect the amount
It pushes down
that
the
they
price.
will be paying. So in other words, the salary that you are going to pay will be low. So that means it will help businesses in that aspect to get cheap labor. Are you getting it? The same thing that is
Okay.
happening in Nigeria is the same thing that is happening in India. There are a lot of people that are looking for a job there as well. And so it's easy for them to get cheap labor. They just transport them to another country. They move most of them to Dubai, move there, some of them to Abu Dhabi and all that to go and work, go and do many a job. And once they do it, they just give them a chicken chair. And they're happy, because they know if they send that money back to India, it's a big money. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's move on. I don't want to Okay, there's one other one that I think we should discuss before we continue. What
The
about
exchange
consumer
rate.
spending? Consumer spending. I think we've discussed the exchange rate. What about the consumer spending? Who wants to talk to me about that? How does it affect business environment, consumer spending? If your customers are not spending, so what happens? That means the revenue that comes to the organization will reduce. That means there's no money. You've gone to your customers to talk to them, patronize, but the purchasing power is low because of the situation in the economy. And so when those things happen, what happens? Then they cannot pay. The purchasing power is low. And if they cannot buy things, then the businesses will not get money. And then the revenue will be low. The profit will be reduced. Are you getting me? So you should think
Yeah.
through like a process. It's not something that you need to cram. It's just for you to be able to understand the process and then the way it goes. And then you'll be able to explain it logically. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
I can't hear every other person. I'm only hearing somebody. I think, who is that? I'm saying yes, sir. Is it not clear? If
Yes,
it's
yes.
not clear, please let me know. Okay, so let's go on. The third one, social aspect. The social aspect affects the business environment as well. So let's go. Who wants to start? What are the factors you need to consider under social factors when you are looking at the business environment? Who is there? You're not making this class lively today. You want me to be talking alone. I won't talk alone today. I've told you. Yesterday I was talking alone. So I want it to be interactive. So please pick one factor and talk to me about it. That's when I will know that you really understand this pesto and how to actually use it to analyze your business environment.
Okay. All right, sir. Look at the cultural differences.
Okay, so what about that?
Like coming
How
to
does it
Nigeria,
affect business? How does it affect business environment?
it does, because if you look
Well
at
done.
Nigeria, we have more than 200 ethnic groups with their own culture. You understand? So for business to thrive, or for business to thrive, we must have to study the cultures of these people. Understand? So that we'll be able to create market in these
You see
areas.
one thing. You might have good points, but if you don't know how to put it down or how to explain it, you won't get that point too. And ICANN is a different example. So you must know what you're explaining. I agree with you. We can look at cultural factor or look at even the religious factor as well. When you are talking, it's always good for you to start thinking of example. That's what I do. So when I give you a factor, then I'm thinking about the example I'm going to give you so that you will understand better. For example, look at Kano. In Kano, or let me generally, the northern part of the country, they will tell you, oh, because we are Muslims, you must not take alcohol. Do you believe
Alcohol.
that?
Yes.
Have you heard of
Yes,
that
sir.
before? They will
Yes,
say you
sir.
must not take alcohol. And if you are caught, they will take you to one court and all that, or even cause one problem for you, so ask you to go and pay a fine or whatever. You must not take alcohol in most of the northern states. Now, when alcohol is banned in the northern states, do you think anybody that wants to go into that business in that area will make profits
We'll try. No, sir.
or will thrive? No, they will
No.
not thrive because who are the people that are going to buy it? That means those that will buy secretly. And so, how many people will you be selling to secretly? It will not work out. Are you thinking the way I'm thinking? And this can also
Yeah.
be, the cultural factor can be around the religious factor. You can wind it around religious factor because the two go together, hands in hand. Are we together?
Yeah.
So look
Yes,
at
sir.
it in that angle. So when you are talking, you may always get one example to give me. So who wants to
Okay.
talk to us about the state and influence of the media? How does media affect business environment? You should get a good example this time around. And I'm going to, if you don't give it, I will give you. Oh, yeah, talk to me. Who wants to say it? The media, how do they affect business environment when you're a journalist? Hey,
Let's look
somebody in
at
the class.
media.
Eh?
In terms of media, I would say the media can influence customers' behavior, can
Mm,
influence it can pull pull the crowd. Like for instance, advertising on social media platforms, campaigning, endorsements. Like we all know that there
mm,
is now a viral, like the TikTok. There are now TikTok challenges, and those opportunities they can help to promote either a business, either a brand. You can come online, you can come on TikTok and showcase your product. So one way or the other, it influences that business, either positively or negatively. Just determines how well you're able to make use of the media. So, yeah.
yeah, you're coming from another perspective, and I agree with you. That's a good one. So that's like social media. So that's what you are looking at. That's a good one. Okay. So who wants to give another example? Maybe like traditional media, our general TV and the normal radio stations. Who is here with me?
Um, uh, in one of the factors there is that there are policies that are made that deters the media. How do I put it now? Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm listening.
I said there are policies and practices of media
Mm-hmm.
in company, and there are policies that affect the way the media operates, which will, in another way around, affect the business. I don't know how to put it to make more meaning or make more sense.
I think I should just discuss this thing since you want to hear me. It's as if you are not interested in making any discussion this night. Because
We are,
most of the things you are saying,
So
I'm
we
not happy.
have.
As if you are
maybe.
Yes, sir.
ready for exam.
Mm,
As if you are not ready for this exam.
Those are already, we didn't really read
So
ahead.
please,
If we've
please,
studied
please
ahead, we'll be able to.
please go and read. Go and read. Hmm? Go and read. I know everybody is busy. I'm also busy. Hmm? If you see what I do from
But
Monday
how
to
do we
Friday,
know the next topic to read? How do we know the class,
you will know
the
the
next topic
next
for the
topic now
class?
because I'm following the pack now. So I'm explaining everything.
Okay.
So you will know what to read. Hmm?
Okay.
So it's not something for you to say you want to cram or anything. It's simple.
Mm.
Once you
Okay,
understand
sir. Sorry
it, then
about
you
that.
can put it down in your own words. Okay, so the T is the technology. So technology has to do with the speed of things that are going on presently across the globe. For example, the artificial intelligence is what is uh, the recent one that is going on, and everybody is trying to embrace it. And then you have research and development, and all that. So those are the common areas that you need to look at and then see what you can do. So what are the factors that you will look at? in this area. Let's say you're a manufacturing company, and then you need to get different equipment for your business. Definitely, that means if you don't have those equipment, you cannot start that business. That's the implication. So it will affect or delay the business, just like, for example, what happened, in the case of Dangote. After some time, they had to wait for a long period of time while they brought in all those things that they need to use to build the refinery from outside the country. And when everything was fixed and order, they had to wait for a testing time. They need to test it and then make sure that it's functioning well. So those are the things you need to look at. So another technology is when you have new innovations. Innovation is cutting across everywhere presently, and you need to work on it, especially in the area of artificial intelligence, where you need to build solutions, solve problems. Another factor you need to look at is the intellectual property, especially if you have businesses. I don't want anybody to steal your idea. Then you need to register your idea as intellectual property or patent. So those are the areas you need to look at. Then all those things I'm mentioning, how exactly will they affect the business environment? If your intellectual property is stolen, that means your revenue is stolen because somebody is using your idea somewhere else and is using it to make money and it's not paying you back. So those are the things you need to look at. Then, when we talk of the environmental factors, we need to also look at environmental factors that usually cover physical environment when we look around. For example, you look at the climate. If it's raining today, you will see that if you are supposed to be at your place of work by 8, you will be delayed, especially people in Lagos. They understand better.
Yeah.
The office that is supposed to get by 8, you might get there by 9 a.m. And definitely, the work you're supposed to do between that 8 and 9 is gone, and you can't do it anymore. So you have to shift it forward. Are we together? So we look at environmental factors. So what are those factors? I've mentioned one. Another one is the energy and power consumption. If there's no NEPA and you're supposed to manufacture in your company, what happens? And you don't have a generator.
Generator.
That means you cannot work. You cannot do anything. It will affect your business. So that's the way you'll be looking at it. As you are picking one factor, quickly think around it and see that, okay, what are the examples that you can mention that can actually work together with it. Another environmental factor is when you talk of waste disposal. Waste disposal. So when you look at it, waste disposal is also a good one. When the environment is dirty and your place is smelling, your customers will not want to come to the office. So they avoid it. And so that's why it's good to make the place look clean and I will not say maybe approachable so that customers can come around. Then another factor you look at is the insurance policies. There are so many businesses that operate in Nigeria at this time that are not covered by insurance. Some have third-party insurance, and some have second party, which is the direct insurance. If anything happens, maybe in terms of fire or whatever, and it's a big company and it's not insured, that's the end. You can never recoup that money anymore. So if there's no policy around that area, in that organization, that, okay, you need to insure your company, definitely it will affect you. But if you insured it and any hazard happens, then there's every tendency. Even if you don't get the 100%, you still get some money that you can add to continue your business. So those are the things you need to look at and consider. The last L, which is the legal aspect of it. You must understand that as you work as you run a business, you talk of competitors. Apart from competitors, I want to say there will also be enemies. I will not want to call them competitors this time. Competitors are different from enemies. Competitors are watching you and they want to steal your idea. But enemies wants to crash you.
So they try the business.
They don't want it to even exist.
Yes.
You understand? So that's where legal aspect comes in. Because some people might just come up with some issue and then take you to court. Are you prepared? Do you have a lawyer for your company, for your business? Who do you run to? And if you don't arrange it even before that, and you are just when the issue comes up, that's when you start running around. Then they will play you. The lawyers also know how to play their games. They will meet themselves and they will talk at the back. They say, let's collect his money. And they know what they are doing. So the legal aspect is also important. So what are the legal factors you need to consider? The business laws. You need to have one or two things, understanding about business law. When you say business law, we talk about contracts, contract law, that business law. When you make contract with people or you enter into a contract, then you know that, okay, that's right. You must know what comes in the agreement before you sign it. And then you talk about rights and so many other things in business law. So these are some of the things you need to know so that your business environment will be stable. You need to know about environmental law as well and what guides them. Environmental law, like pollution and what have you. So if you have a business, maybe you're a musician and you're causing pollution, although it's not that common in Nigeria, but if you're outside the country, you just bring out and you're singing somewhere, they will arrest you because you're causing
noise pollution. Noise pollution.
Yes, noise pollution. You're causing noise pollution.
Mm.
So those are the things you need to look at and how it will affect your business. Then health and safety guidelines. These are very important. Health and safety guidelines. The health of the organization, the health of the staff. We must look at it and consider how it works. International trade agreement and treaties are some of the things you should also consider. And then know that, okay, everything is fine. Yes, SWOT analysis. At least this is an area. Yesterday, you confessed that you don't really know more about Spesto. So most of you said you know about SWOT analysis. So let me hear from you. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I will take the T. Give will take the S. Anulu, I will take the W. Teresa will take the O. And I will take the T. So let's start and discuss.
I'm not hearing again.
I said you should take, I've asked you to take one by one. I said, Madam Gift, talk to us about the S, which is the strength. I said the
Okay,
W, and Noah will take it. The O,
okay.
Teresa will take it. Then I will take the T. I want to learn from you too.
Okay. The in economy, strength is talking about the capacity that a business have. Or I should explain further. is the internal strength of a business. Hello.
I'm listening.
Okay. The strength of an organization or the strength of a business, their capability, their capacity. If the business, if they're into production, their strength to their consumers, the strength of their performances or their businesses. You see
And Gate, you have to go and read very well.
Okay, sir.
They have a lot to do. A lot to do.
You know, I've missed out a lot too, so I really have to.
And yesterday you told me that you know about SWOT. You said you know about SWOT, but what you are telling me is not really strong enough.
Okay,
Please,
sir.
you have to go and read. Go and read. You know you want to pass this exam. Please, go and read. Okay, so when we talk of strength, we're actually looking at different things, and that has to do with the position of advantage. So how do you think that your organization is doing? How do you think they are doing better than others, or maybe than competitors? So you have to look at it from the position of advantage, either in terms of your product or your services. Or you look at, what happens. In what area are you better than your competitors? What are you doing differently? What are your unique value propositions that are different, that will make a difference over your competitor? Are you innovative in what you are doing? Those are the things you need to look at when you talk about the strength. Is it a company that will just continue for a long and they will not think of doing other things? For example, I read today, how many of us know Figma? They say most of the designers are leaving Figma. Figma is a platform used by UI UX designers. That is those people that actually design the front end, what you see when you enter into, when you see when you see a website. Most of them they are leaving Figma. Immediately I saw that thing, I was triggered. I said, wow, it's as if I knew. Because there was somebody I gave something to. I wanted to develop my own personal website, so that at least I can put some of the things I've done and things I have. And I asked him, develop something for me, a UI UX, so that we'll use it to write the code and then we can build the website. Interestingly, the guy did one or two things and he shared with me. He said I should look at one link and another. So when he said he has completed the job, I said, okay, send the job to me so that please I can do it. We can use it to write the code. Then he told me that I don't have access. The only access is that he has to send the link to me. I cannot download that. I said, no, that is not right. You want to collect my money and you will not give me what you want. You understand? From that experience that I had with Figma, I knew people will leave very soon. Because there's nobody that wants to do that. You will pay somebody and the person will still not give you your work and will tell you that it's only a link that you should look at. No, it doesn't work like that in business world. So that's an example. Are you innovative enough? Then, what are your unique selling points? Your unique selling propositions? What are you telling your customers? How are you trying to attract them? So those are the strengths. And then you look at what? Your assets, your resources, the people that you have. You have to consider all those ones. And then you look at your technical capabilities, your IT. Those are the areas you need to consider. So let me give room to Anolua to talk to us on weaknesses.
For weaknesses, we can say there are the things that a business lack in order to perform their duties, like what a business lacks in order for them to be effective, either in their production, either in their profit margin, either in their market strategy, either trying to be competitive. There are things, internal factors that a business lacks. And in such regard, you can say maybe in terms of having skilled workforce, like their employees, when they are not skilled enough, to manage situation, either in customer relations, likewise in situation where a business has poor cash flow management. They are unable to manage their debt. They are unable to manage their profit. They are unable to to they are unable to put in their retained earning back into the business. And when a business lacks capital, such a business will not be able to grow, especially in the case of small businesses. So that leads to inability to maybe pay their supplier, inability to, then they begin to have late. Along the line, management becomes a problem. And when management becomes a problem, they cannot stand their competitors. So like that.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That's a good one. Okay. Let's listen to Teresa. Opportunity.
Okay, when we talk of opportunity, we are looking at those external factors that a company can take advantage of to improve their growth. Yes, and they can look at the technology, you know. I don't even know. So you just looking at those external factors that can boost their businesses. For instance, during rainy season, you find out that the weather is chill, and most of the clothes we put on is cardigan. So a good businessman will take advantage of this time, especially if the person is into clothing. So even before this time, the person might go on storing some of these clothes that will be needed during this period. I think it's an opportunity, taking advantage of that. You find out that during that period that the importation will be high, this person must have gotten it at a very cheaper rate and will sell and make lots of gain. So another one is you look at your consumers, looking at your consumers and what they want, depending on what you're dealing on. For instance, I used to deal on wares, that is babies. You find out that babies is like, it has no season, because every time we notice people giving birth. So I like it so much because there's no bad market, unlike for an adult wear or for teenagers that their parents have to get them something at seasonal period or festive period. So it is, I don't know if I'm online, but I'm just trying to put up something, sir. So I think is another factor, looking at the consumer, what they want. Hello?
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's a good one. Okay, so I agree with you. Okay, so let's look at
Okay.
the threats, just like what we've discussed before. So if we look at the pesto, they are more or less like under threats. The political factors, the competitors, the environmental factors, the technological changes, all those things we discuss as pesto, those are the things we'll be discussing under threats. Do you agree with me? So that's the way it
Yeah.
works. So is it clear now?
Yes,
So
sir.
you will now
I
be
didn't get
looking
you,
at it
sir.
in that angle. How, I said everything we've discussed under pesto, those are the things we'll be
Okay.
discussing under threats. How they can affect the survival of your business. Political factors, environmental factors, technology, legal aspects. You understand? Competitors. Those are the things you'll be looking at.
Okay.
Do you understand the angle I'm getting? I'm coming now for you to understand.
Yes,
Is it clear?
yes, sir.
So those are the things you need to understand. So you just use it and then look at it and say, okay, now how can the political factor threaten my business? We've already talked about it before. If there's war or there's a change of policy or whatever, how will it affect your business? Then you talk about it, you look at it. When there are competitors, how can competitors? There are some competitors that will say, yes, we must destroy your business. There are some competitors, they will say they will be friendly with you, and then they will still start stealing from you, your ideas and all that. So those are the areas that you know, those are the ways they can threaten you. Or maybe you have a big player in the industry. They already have a higher share. How will that affect you? So those are the things you need to look at on that threats. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an assignment. Will not take more than this because I can see that I see most of you are not really in this class. So let's. I want you to. The assignment is go and read about Potter's 5 forces. Can you hear me?
What?
Potter's 5 forces. That's also a very common question.
About
Portal.
Potter's 5 forces.
Potter's. When I say Potter, Porter, Potter's 5 forces. So go and read about it. Potter's 5 forces. That's the first thing we'll discuss next week, Saturday, before we continue our class. Any question for me?
No, sir.
This one that you don't always have questions. You say no, sir, no, sir, no, you are. Yeah, the first was. I know you are always in the class, yeah. So maybe everything is clear to you. Any question?
sir,
Teresa, any question?
I didn't get the assignment.
Porter's
I said you
5
should go and read
forces.
about
5.
Potter's 5 forces.
5
POR.
forces.
Okay.
P-O-R-T-E-R. Potter.
Yes.
P-O-R-T-E-R. Apostrophe
Okay.
S. Then Potter's 5 forces. Please go and read about it. You discuss I will ask every one of you your own perspective next week before we start. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, sir.
All right, sir.
Yeah.